Hey everybody, Scotty Fields here. I'm just playing through Common Ground and finally learned the chords to it, and I thought maybe somebody could gain some benefit from seeing the chords and the shapes and learning the song, the chord progression of the song. I know I struggle with it. I knew it a few years ago and then don't ever play it, and I forgot. So at the very minimum, this will be a help for me in the future, but I'm hoping it'll also help those of you, maybe somebody out there that is looking for the chords to this song to play similar to kind of how Tony played it. Now I don't have Tony's right hand, but I am going to also show the right hand as well. So I thought what I would do first is just show show a camera here, the right hand, and play it up to speed or close to it. It's probably not up to speed. It's probably a little slower, but just so you can see, kind of get the context of everything, and then we'll slow it down and go over the chord shapes and what I think the chord names are. All right, so let's start with it up to speed. This is the first one of these videos I've ever done, so I'm going to try my best to explain it, but bear with me. If there's something you don't understand, feel free to leave a comment or reach out to me, and I'll be happy to break it down further. So we're going to kind of break the song up into, it's really kind of broken up into three parts. There's kind of this floaty intermission almost, and it's kind of like the way the song kicks off, and it sounds like what that really is it's really three different chord shapes. These are pretty easy. They're all just kind of triads. So everything has kind of got this E in the bass, this open E, right? And then you've got this triad here, and that is middle finger on the D string, 5th fret, first finger on the G string, 4th fret, third finger on the B string, 5th fret. That's the triad. See that E over it. So I play it like it's almost like you're muting it. Okay. Then we're gonna play a triad. That's a D shape. This shape, sorry. It is D. But it might be a little different than a D you're used to playing. So we'll start this way. The first finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, which is part of your normal D, right? Normal D shape. And then your 3rd finger is going to cover this note, which is the D string on the 4th fret. With an E over it, it sounds weird, right, by itself. But that slide backwards transitions into that, so. So it's a, that's an up. And you can, I think when I play it, I sort of just leave that bass rolling. So I don't really even play the E note again. Because, you know, we're not touching that E string, so it should ring over those two. Okay, so those two are pretty easy, right? So you got this and this. Now we're just going to play a regular D shape, and we're going to make it a D sharp. Okay, and then we're going to slide it back a fret. So again, regular D, it's just first finger, third fret of the G string, second finger, third fret of the E string, third finger, fifth fret of the B string. And that would be the D sharp, and then you slide it all back a fret. And that's all of the intermission. That's what it does. It bounces between those two things. So. Okay. Pretty simple, right? Really, this song isn't that bad. It sounds worse than it kind of is. So the next shape I'm going to show you is going to be used. It's what we use in the what I'd call the first section, right? And again, I'm not a big chord head, so I may get the names of these chords wrong. But first, I just want to show you the position. Okay, so we're going to go up here. There's really just two positions for this whole run down the neck of the next part of the song, and this is what it sounds like up to speed. That's it. And then back to her. And then again. Okay, so the first position, I believe, is, I had to write it down because I don't know the names of these chords, but this is an E6 with a suspended seventh, or second, sorry, an E6 with a suspended second. And what the position looks like, so what is this? This is the 7th fret, 7th fret, and that's on the A. Okay, second finger, 7th fret, A string. We're going to skip the D string, but we're going to mute it, right? So you can either let this finger sort of sit on it so you don't hear it, or you can push this one a little closer. Sometimes I do a little bit of both. It just kind of depends. D's muted. G is on the 6th fret, second finger, or first finger. So you got that, right? Then you're going to put it is kind of like a G here on the bottom. You're going to do third finger on the B string 7th fret and pinky on the E string, high E on the 7th fret. That's kind of just running the pick over the strings. Because again, this note is muted. If it doesn't get muted, it sounds pretty bad. That position is going to be used all the way up and down the neck. There's 3 different places this plays. So there it is again. That's just down 2 frets from where you just had it. Down 2 more frets. Right? And it bounces back and forth between this position and the one I'm about to show you. Okay? So again, the next chord is a D sharp minor 7th, sharp 5th. Okay, and it sounds like this. And all that's really happening, well, let me give you finger readings first, and then I'll show you how to switch quickly between the two. It's pretty easy. Okay, so we're going to do first finger on the A string, 6th fret. We're going to skip D again. D's getting no love here. The G string is pressed down with the 2nd finger on the 6th fret as well. That's what you get there. And then you got the 3rd finger pressing the B string down on the 7th fret, and the pinky pressing the high E down on the 7th fret. Okay? And to get from the former position to the other, all I'm really doing is I'm just switching these. I don't know if you can see that good, but I'm really just switching these 2 fingers, right? So I'm picking the 2nd finger up and placing it where the 1st finger was, and the 1st finger is covering a fret down. And again, all the way down the neck, right? So 1st position, the 2nd position, the 1st position, the 2nd position, the 1st position, the 2nd position, and then back to our. That's it. Okay, that's it for section, what I call the main line, right? Now we're coming into the bridge, or the second part of the song. And this starts with a chord you're probably familiar with. Let me just play the second part of the song. So it goes. Then back to the front. Okay, so we'll be in this part. Now there's a real quick that's a B. All I'm doing is playing the bottom part of it. B, right, to a C sharp minor. Now C sharp minor, if you've never played like a B minor position, it's really just the same as an A minor. You're covering with a bar on it so that I can right. That's what it looks like. Okay, now we're going to play this position, and this is a D major 9th chord, and it sounds like this. Closed chord also, and it's going to be 2nd finger on the 5th fret, 1st finger on the 5th fret of the A string, 1st finger on the 4th fret of the D string, pinky on the 6th fret, is it right? Yep, of the G string, 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the B string. Okay, again, this position is used just about every other beat or so of this. So you'll bounce to this a couple times here. Okay, so again, to back up, it's okay. Then we have the next position, which is really like a G7th. looks like this. And we're going to have a dead A string this time. It's going to be first finger on the 3rd fret of the bass string of the E string. Then we got a muted A, which is pretty easy to do for me, hopefully for you as well. Then we've got 3rd fret D string with the 2nd finger. And then we've got the pinky on the 4th fret of the G string. And then we've got 3rd finger on the B string, 3rd fret. And here's what a G7 sounds like. So it's the same idea, right? Now, why do I play this way? This is a closed chord, first of all, so it's nice when you're up the neck to kind of use that as opposed to jump back down and play an open stringy chord. That's pretty much the reason I use it, and it's easier to slide to than the G7 would be from the way it's classically played. Okay, so again, backing up, we got boom, 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 boom. Okay, now we're going to play that same position that we played earlier. This what is it called? A C sharp? No, it's not it. A D major 9th chord. This time though, it's going to be a C major 9th chord, right? Because we've moved it. We've moved it down a few frets. So that's the next chord. Same position as this one. So again, we'll go over it. 2nd finger on the 3rd fret, the A string. 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. Pinky on the 4th fret G. And then 3rd finger's covering the 3rd fret on the B. Okay, so again, to get to this point, okay, now we're going to play an F. But this F, for this to sound right, I think anyway, you could just play the F. But then I like to cover the bass string with my thumb, right? So you get this kind of riding bass line across these chords, right? So you're getting this. Boom, boom. That. Okay, but that's an F is all we're playing. And you can also do this. That's easier for you. Okay. Then we're going to play a B. So kind of like where we started, but this time we're going to play it this way. Okay. So that is, in case you don't know, first finger covers the A string on, we're making a B note there, so that'll be the 2nd fret of the A string. And then I just lay my pinky down across the next 3 strings. And it takes a little getting used to. That's how I play it. So let's play that part slow, all the way up to that point, right? Back to our little transition. And then the next line of this second part is exactly the same with one exception, and I'll show you when we get there. So this is the second time. Instead of going back to the E from this chord, we're going to play this chord, which if you follow Tony and you played some of his stuff, you'll recognize this shape from this. This is a setup chord for C a lot, but it's called, I've heard it called a lot of different things. F with a G in the bass. That's typically what I would chord in this situation. It's a G, or it's an A. No, it's a G with a in the bass. Right. So we're gonna play that position, and then I think the chord program I used called this a what do we call it? An A9 with a suspended fourth. So an A9 sus4. Right, and then we're going to slide that up 2 frets and play a B9 suspended 4. Just in case you don't know this, you're going to make an F. So we're going to do an F shape, right? So first finger's going to cover the bottom 2 strings on the 3rd fret in this case. Then we're going to cover the next string up, the G, with the 2nd finger on the 4th fret, right? And then typically for an F, well, no, that's right, yeah, for an F we would cover this next string with our pinky. This is a D string on the 5th fret, and typically our 3rd finger would cover this note, right, which is the A string. What we're going to do in this case is we're going to cover, and it's going to sort of help us mute. We're going to mute that A string, right, so we don't hear it. We're going to come across and catch the actual, the E string, the low E string there. And then slide that whole thing up 2 frets. And that's it. And now you're done. You go back to the thing. So let's play the second part all together, kind of slower, so you can see how it all goes together. Okay, hopefully you can see what I'm doing with the right hand here. I'm not going to go too much in depth to it, mainly because I'm not really even sure if that's what Tony plays or if that's something that's easily translates to your playing. You may play those a little different and probably sound better. But you know, ultimately I just wanted to show you what the left hand was doing, the best I can tell on that song. So thanks for tuning in. I'll try to make sure that the chord names are on the screen, so if you want to know what the chord names are, you can see that. I'm sure there'll be some comments probably saying the chords aren't right or whatever. They're probably not. Again, you know, if somebody asked me to play a D sharp, what is that, a D sharp minor 7th with a sharp 5th, I wouldn't even know how to do that. So I just know the positions, and make sure, to that point, you know, those positions are cool, they're powerful because they're closed, right? As we show, they're I mean, you're playing this position in 3 different places up the neck, right? So you know, that's cool. That's a real powerful thing. So make sure you use those, you know, in your playing, and hopefully I'll do some more videos like this, if nothing else, just to help myself, but I'm hoping somebody will get some benefit out of it. But I appreciate you hanging around and going through this song with me, and any questions, just reach out to me. Thank you.